Grace Hayner.
You may be seated if you wish. Hello all, this is the second day of the trial. You may call your witnesses if you wish.
The defense calls Marie Cardona to the stand. Whore! Wait your turn. Thank you.
Objection.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. You may be seated if you wish.
So, what is your relationship to my clients?
Him and I were close. Was out one day and I saw him at the beach.
Marissa.
So would you say you know him very well?
We were close for a time, but since he's been in jail, I haven't really seen him that much.
When you first met Marcel, what did you think of him?
He was just very quiet, didn't say very much, very indifferent towards most things.
And might I ask why you spent the day with him, especially knowing his mother had died just the day before?
Well, when I first saw him, he didn't say anything to me about it, didn't mention anything when we were at the beach, and then later that night when we went to go see a movie, that's when he told me, and I figured that I should just kind of stay and keep him company.
So you'd say you were trying to comfort Marcel.
Yes.
Would you say, could you make an estimation of how he handled such a loss of his mother, and how he handled such grief?
He didn't really say much about her, didn't really want to talk about her at all. Kept very much to himself about the whole situation.
Would you say he didn't have anything to say about his mother, did not have any sorrow to express, or he did not wish to express it?
I can't say. He was just so quiet.
How would you describe him as a person? How would you describe his character in general?
Well, when I first met him, I didn't really think that he would be capable of doing something like killing another person. He was just kind of very quiet, went about, and everything else.
So you would say you were shocked to hear that he had...
Nothing. Just you're leading the witness and they're not objecting. I don't know why.
Objection, interference?
Yeah. Annabelle, you guys can object.
We can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Objection to your leading. Don't lead the witness.
How did you react to find out that Marcel had killed the arrow?
I was shocked.
Do you think he would have, or even could have, killed a man without a justifiable reason?
Objection to your leading of the witness.
Is she a psychologist? How would she be able to know if he's capable? So objection. She's not qualified to make that assumption.
Do you think this kind of behavior, this kind of violence action would be typical of the Marcel you know?
No.
Has he ever acted in any way violent around you that you've seen?
No. However, I was surprised when he didn't step in when there was violence between Brandon and you guys. I was pretty shocked about the whole thing.
Did he give a reason as to why?
Not really.
I mean, perhaps he was staying out for, not for apathy, but for the sake of his friend, his misguided friend who he's trying to help, perhaps.
Objection. You're leading.
You're the judge. You have to make the decision whether you allow it or you...
No further questions.
this.
Wait,
With
but,
all my
okay. I respect your decision, Your Honor.
We do have to move it, but we won't get through it now.
So we're gonna be shocked to find out his mother was dead.
Objection
I was
has
gonna
been
answer.
answered.
Very good. Now we're getting something.
On the landing, you expressed that you were uncomfortable with Raymond Sintes abusing another woman, and he did not step in. And then later, you asked him if he loved you and if he would want to marry you. How did he respond?
He was very indifferent to the topic. He said he probably didn't love me, but we could get married if I wanted to.
And how did that make you feel?
Objection, relevancy?
You may continue.
So when he told you he didn't care if you get married, you agreed, and you told him you still wanted to get married?
Yeah. That I didn't know that he would be capable of doing something like this.
And do you still want to get married to him?
No.
Do you feel that Mr. Merceau has shown you a different side of him? And does it scare you? And on the day the murder took place, before he actually killed the Arab, it was after the fight, the first fight, he came back and it was just him who came back. So he did not help Raymond Sintes go to the doctor. And did he seem shaken or even concerned after the first fight?
Again, he seemed kind of indifferent.
No further questions? May I call on the next witness?
Prosecution would like to call Marcel Schug, the examining magistrate.
For this you know that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man who is an idolater hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God. Ephesians
Objection,
5:5.
no question was asked of the witness.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
So, you met with Mr. Merceau a week after he was arrested, and did he seem worried about his case?
No.
So he was not worried that his own fate was at risk?
He was very indifferent. I wouldn't expect more from a man who does not know God.
And when you,
Objection, relevancy.
you may continue. Thank you. When you told him there was no purpose in life for the man who doesn't believe in God, how did he respond to you?
At first, he seemed like he may believe in God, and when I pressed further, he objected and said that he did not. There is no purpose in life without a God. Every man believes in God. Even if you don't accept it, every man believes in God. You can't live a life without God. There's no meaning. There's no morals. You'd be foolish.
Objection, the witness was not asked his opinion on theology.
Neither were you.
And did you express your emotions on how when you told him that no one can live a life without God, and did he still seem indifferent to it?
Yes, he didn't even respond.
Did Mr. Merceau ever seem anxious or worried about his case?
Not particularly. I mean, sort of towards the end, but I think it was probably more fear and realization that he may actually die rather than actual care for anyone around him.
And did Mr. Merceau ever try to defend himself when you told him that there was no life without a God?
Hardly.
Did he just accept
what you would tell him,
Yes, he sat there.
and he believed you.
No.
So he
At first, again, it looked as though he believed that what I was saying was true. You can't live a life without God. Every man believes in God. And then I asked, do you believe in God? And Marcel responded with no. And then after that, complete indifference, and at some points didn't even respond to my questions.
So he didn't try to further his case or to make
No.
sure.
Objection, leading.
That's all. Thank you.
So, I believe your opinion of my client has been made clear. Might I ask what precisely you're basing your judgments of my client upon?
The fact that your client does not believe in God, or claims to not believe in God.
I ask where you find sin in this.
The sin in not believing in God.
Where is the issue? I'm just asking
The issue.
precise. So,
You cannot live a life without God. There is no meaning.
how so?
As in, what's the point of living if there is no God? What's the point of my life if there is no God?
I ask how your life is relevant to this case. Not that.
Objection.
Not-
Next question.
So, what you start is that because my client does not accept that there is a God, then he deserves the death penalty in this case.
No, of course not. I'm pleading the exact opposite. Although Mersault may be a man without God, it does say within the Bible that murder is awful, it's a terrible, heinous crime no man should commit. All judgment should be reserved for God, all final judgment.
I'm not gonna lie. That was the defense is surprised at your response.
It's simple, it's in the text, it's biblical.
So would you agree it would be better to let a man who has not seen the lights of God yet, would it be better to allow him to live and attempt to form him and to kill him before he has that opportunity?
I've talked with Mersault for approximately 11 months leading up to this case. There's always chance for reform for everyone, although there was a brutal murder. I won't support the murder of a murderer.
Of course.
I would rather them rot in prison and feel just slightly what hell tastes like.
See. Nothing further.
The defense would like to call Solomon. Please put your hand on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. You may be seated if you wish.
How do you know Mersault?
Marcel is my neighbor in the apartment complex. We've been neighbors for quite some time.
Were you friends with him?
We know each other, but we don't talk.
What was your interaction with Mersault the day you lost your dog?
I was out on my porch and Marcel noticed me in distress. He came over and he asked me what happened. I told him and he offered me some advice about what I should do about my dog.
Was this advice comforting?
Yes, it was. Later that evening, I went up to his apartment and I asked him for more advice and he gave it to me. He offered me in to his apartment, but I declined.
So you would say Mersault was friendly to you?
Yes.
So, addressing the murder, do you think that the same friendly person who comforted you with his advice would be capable?
Objection, speculation.
You would continue?
Do you believe, based on your interactions with Marcel, that he is a cold-blooded murderer?
No, I do not. He's been nothing but nice to me.
No further questions.
So you've been neighbors with Mr. Rousseau for quite some time? And were you guys close before you lost your dog?
No.
Did he ever show any interest in you and your dog?
No.
And did you know Mr. Rousseau before your wife died and you got your dog?
No, I do
And the day you lost your dog, Mr. Rousseau told you that you could find it at the pound because they keep them for 3 days, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Did you have any other questions after that that you wanted to ask him about it? And when he came into your apartment, or when he invited you into your apartment, or his apartment, did he seem disinterested in helping you, or?
Well, he invited me in, which I thought was nice, but because he invited me in, I would say he was just trying to be nice. I don't think he was very interested, because he didn't offer to physically do anything about my dog. He just gave me advice.
All right, no further questions.
Are you going to call this witness?
The prosecution would like to call Celeste to the stand. Please put your hand on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
You may seat if you wish.
What is your relationship with Marcel?
Well, he's a general customer at my restaurant. Comes almost every day, sometimes twice a day.
How long have you known him?
For a while now, I'd say a couple of years.
How did he act when he came into your restaurant?
He usually keeps to himself, but once in a while I'll ask him how he's doing, and he'll either say he's fine or he'll let me in a little bit, and I'll talk to him about his problems.
Anything unusual to show that he might be a cold-blooded murderer?
No, he's just, he keeps to himself, and he doesn't always like to deal with his problems, but I don't think that that makes him a bad person.
Did he show any sign of grief toward his mother's death? Or did he talk to you about his mother's death at all?
He mentioned it, but he didn't really seem to want to talk about it that much.
Do you think it bothered him that his mother had passed away, or did he not really care?
He didn't show much distress to it. I think he's just kind of used to having bad things happen to him, and he just seems to have a lot of bad luck surrounding him. And I think that this was just another case of that.
No further questions.
So, you've known Marcel for several years. Would you say you're friends with him?
I wouldn't go as to say that far, but more than acquaintances.
From your interactions with Marcel, do you think he is a good person?
Yeah. I wouldn't say he leans too far one way or the other, but
Do you as you mentioned, he's a person that likes to keep to himself. Do you think he would act out in this way?
I don't think he would ever be led by emotions or any sort of thing like that to do something like that. I truly believe it was just bad luck.
So you said that his mother passing was bad luck. Are you saying that the murder is also bad luck?
Yes, I think that, everybody has bad luck, everybody has good luck. And I just think that he's really plagued with his bad luck, and I think you know what bad luck does, it just makes you do things or causes things to happen that aren't good, and I think that was just a case of that.
So if the murder was simply bad luck, does that mean he had no intentions of killing the murderer?
I believe so. I don't think he would want to do something.
Is there anybody ask you to do your closing statements? The lawyers?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all your patience and attention throughout the trial. As you know, I'm representing the era.
After hearing all the facts,
After hearing all the facts, I've come to the conclusion that maybe Mr. Marcel is guilty of the murder. After gathering the evidence, Mr. Marcel is guilty, and I believe he should be sentenced for murder.
Your Honor, may I remind you of everything?
Your Honor, may I remind you of everything the defendant has done. This is a man who has killed. This is a man who was involved in sexual pleasures after his mother had died.
He killed a man.
He killed a man for no reason, only to settle an affair. I believe that he did this. He has committed a first-degree murder without a selfless act, and he should be sentenced to prison. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, assimilating all the facts of this case, only one conclusion can be reached. Monsieur Marceau is not the hollow shell he may appear to be, for his facade conceals a man racked by grief, unable to properly process his loss. He snapped under the stress of a genuine threat at his life. Beginning with the funeral, as the director stated, he did smoke, he did drink coffee during the vigil, did not allow himself to cry during the funeral, and regrettably did not help Monsieur Perez. The prosecution takes evidence to paint the name Marceau in the darkest tones imaginable, but the truth is brighter than it may seem. The cigarettes and coffee were merely an attempt to remain awake during the long and solemn vigil, as well as something of a pleasantry. not have cried during the funeral, but that does not mean he was not grieving. He did not wish to show his sorrow, he did not wish to thereby accept it. In short, he was in denial. And while he did not help Monsieur Perez, many did, and he, in his grief, thought, perhaps somewhat selfishly, they've got him, he'll be fine, what use would I have been anyway? Moving on to the day after the funeral. It's become clear from Marie Cardona's testimony that he's trying to escape his grief. Going swimming, meeting a girl, seeing a comedy together, sharing a certain liaison, all acts intended to lift the spirits of a downtrodden, depressed, and emotionally repressed man. No summation, nor conviction could be completed in this trial without first speaking of his honest, kind, open-minded nature. He consoled and comforted Salamano on the loss of his poor dog. Raymond and Maison speak of him as an honest man, one who is loyal and one who would not judge a man based purely on rumors. Throughout all of Raymond's morally dubious affairs, he's remained loyal and helped him at every turn, trying, perhaps in vain, to have him turn over a new leaf. Yes, Raymond did beat his mistress over a supposed affair, and yes, my client was involved. But no, he never condoned Raymond's extreme actions. In fact, when the two of them encountered the Arab who was after Monsieur Sintes's life, my clients convinced Raymond to not shoot, to hand over the gun, and to have Meursault in turn not shoot unless the Arab pulled a knife on Raymond, thereby threatening Raymond's life and well-being. When the Arab did pull a knife on Raymond, Meursault did not shoot. He waited, and the Arab ran away. Raymond, Maison, Celeste, Marie, and Salamano all testify that though he may be a reserved man, Meursault is not a violent one. After returning to the bungalow, after the encounter, he, being reserved and private, took a walk to sort himself out after the high stakes and highly emotional day he had just had, not long after the death of his dear maman, no less. On this innocent walk, he encountered the Arab unexpectedly. Bad luck, if you will. After all, they had run away after attacking Raymond. Distraught, frightened, and isolated, when the Arab pulled a knife on my client, he remembered the gun he had not had a chance to return to Raymond, and shot. Realizing what he had done, the weight of his actions, all of the emotions he bottles up and expresses and does not show, as we all seen, as everyone has testified to, burst to the surface. He shot 4 more times at the dead man laid before him. My client is not a bad man. He was threatened. There was a legitimate threat to his well-being, and he acted. Can anyone blame him for this? Would any of us have done any differently? And if they still don't, and those who still not agree, Those who still want the death penalty, these are not a favorites to death. The defense rests.
Okay, yeah, we're done.
All right, Your Majesty, can I ask you why you chose to use such vulgar words towards Marie?
They were all truthful. Nothing more could have been said. Nothing better, nothing worse.
Do you really, really believe that there's no life without the Lord, and
Of
He would
course
want
not.
you to say those things to her?
The Lord? Yes. The Lord is the source of all knowledge and the source of all amazing that is in the universe.
But what if everybody else has their own view of what the Lord means to them?
They're wrong.
They're wrong.
The Bible states it correctly, plainly. Would you like a copy?
Thank you.
Yes, of course. No problem.
No further questions.
No further questions.
All right. Marcel, may I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
May I ask why you decided to murder the Arab?
Just kind of happened.
It happened. So, what do you think that the judge will rule you, guilty or non-guilty?
Both the defense and prosecution seem to agree I should not be killed by death penalty, so I think I will be sentenced to prison.
How do you feel about going to prison? Like, are you scared to go to prison?
I wouldn't say scared. It is what it is.
But if you get the death penalty, are you scared to die
In a way, it's a new beginning.
in the beginning? Where do you think you'll go after death? Do you think there is a life after death?
No comment.
Thank you.